Let me tell you about a racetrack in northern Minnesota that just doesn't quite fit the mold of a typical track. There isn't anything terribly fancy or sophisticated there. It's just a simple dirt oval with wooden bleachers set in the middle of a field. Now, I don't know what the exact recipe for success is for a weekly racing program, but it seems as if all the necessary ingredients are there, despite the lack of anything outrageously flashy. It's a laid-back, friendly kind of place, and home to a deep-fried delicacy, a little guilty pleasure called the Chicken Shack. The track I speak of is Bemidji Speedway, and it's the epitome of a grassroots racetrack. Former racer Tonja Stranger and her brother, Randy Hayes, have been fixtures at the Bemidji Speedway for decades, helping manage operations there since their parents, Mel, also a former racer, and Idella, purchased the facility in 2002. With the recent passing of Idella this January and Mel passing away in 2020, 2023 marks the first year that Tonja and Randy will be operating the track without the support or presence of either parent.
My mom passed away in January, and she really kept us going. You know, she wasn't here all the time, but she was at home. She was here with us in spirit. She passed away in January, and it's just that we really want to keep this legacy going for her. In fact, one night we're going to have her last lap, and like I said, we're not going to do a memorial race or anything like that, but we're just going to do one last lap for Della. So.
Bemidji Speedway has had several owners and promoters since its inception in the 1960s, but perhaps the track has seen its most stable and successful management under the current direction of Tonja and Randy. That stability has fostered a family-friendly, low-pressure, fun atmosphere that presently exists there. Between greeting drivers, doing behind-the-scenes duties, and being pulled in a million different directions, I was able to catch up with Tonja for a quick sit-down chat.
Bemidji Speedway is someplace that if you don't have fun, there's something wrong. We're pretty laid back. We're not like the big racetracks. You know, we call this home. Being a Sunday, we really like to focus on the family atmosphere, you know, fan-friendly. Like I said, we just have fun.
What do you think makes this place so unique?
I think it's the grassroots racing that we have. You know, like tonight we have the late models. We haven't had late models for probably 15 to 18 years, but we have the Hornets, we have the pure stocks, we have the mini stocks, grassroots. But you know, those guys that start in those classes, they will be the next Don Shaw, they will be the next, you know, Danny Bang. Those guys, it takes the grassroots racing.
What has been the key to attracting so many young kids, especially young girls, to the program here at Bemidji?
I wish I knew. We are just so blessed. Actually, we do have two nights. That one is a female racer night and one is young guns. And I'm not sure the numbers this year. I know we've lost a couple people they went to school, but I know that we have, right now I believe there's about 14 girls, and this year I believe we have under the age of 20, I believe there's 21 or 22 kids.
In your eyes, what's the perfect race day here at Bemidji Speedway?
The perfect race day would be 75, a little bit of sun, no wind, grandstands packed, and like I said, you know, we've been averaging about 85 cars a night. I know tonight, like with the late models, we're down 2 classes just because of the late models, but just a great car count. And a really good night for me is when everybody walks away. If I can keep 4 out of 10 people happy, I've done a good job for a promoter.
How do you handle the naysayers and people who walk away upset or complain about the track?
Well, I will say that I believe one thing I have going for me is being a female. I remember when my stepdad, Mel Hayes, was the promoter. I think being a male, you would just yell. I mean, I remember people just yelling at him and, cursing and everything. People are a little bit more lenient with me, and I really respect that. And I mean, I do. You try to make people feel good, but in the same token, you still hope that they understand what happened, why they had a bad call or what happened, if you can help explain it to them.
Are there any things in particular that you are proud about this place?
I'm very proud of our crew, our work crew. There's actually, there's really nothing I'm not proud of. I'm very proud to own this place. It was a family with Mom passing away. Now it's mine, and on paper it's mine, but my brother Randy, it's ours. And like I said, we are very proud to have what we have. The support, there's so much support that we've gotten. We've gotten such a good family of racers. They call it the racing family, and that's absolutely what it is.
Do you have any goals for here that you're striving for?
My one goal is to just have people happy. I know it's not going to happen every night, but I just want people, when they walk out, especially the grandstand, the spectators, I want them to feel good leaving. Especially, and the racers too. I hope, we all, I've raced many times, many years. You get good calls and bad calls. Are you going to make everybody happy? Absolutely not. But like I said, I just want people to be happy when they leave.
Why does the Chicken Shack seem to get so much attention for being such a small concession at a small racetrack?
I don't know. It's funny that it's amazing how many people come. They say they come for the chicken and stay for the races. It's just, the Chicken Shack has been here for many years. I remember when I was 10 years old, we come out and the Chicken Shack was there. I want to say it was built in like the 70s, but it's always just been that. And like I said, why it took us so long to figure out to have the Chicken Shack Nationals, this is only like our 4th or 5th year, but that's our niche, and that's people know us for that.
Now that you have you on camera and you have the opportunity, is there anything you'd like to say maybe?
I just really want to thank people for what they've done. We've come a long way in the last 4 or 5 years. One thing, and this is hopefully a positive or a negative, is social media. I really hope that people with social media, it can be your worst enemy or it can be your best friend. I just hope that people remember that when they leave a racetrack. If they've had a bad experience, I really wish that they would just, call the promoter, just keep it to themselves. I mean, talk amongst your friends, but instead of going to social media, kind of let it go.
Now don't get me wrong, just like all other tracks, this place is not without its faults or mistakes. Some of the strangest things I've ever experienced in this sport I have witnessed at Bemidji Speedway. Heck, I've even been kicked out of the place more than once back in my younger, more temperamental days. But what I see there now is a small group of people with limited resources busting their tail to keep people entertained and keep the heart of dirt track racing beating. This place does more with less than most places could ever imagine, and they get it right, without all the modern, expensive, high-tech gadgets. There's a loyal fan base there that would be the envy of most any track. I stopped by for their late model special in June, and let me tell you, the place was alive. With the stands nearing capacity, the ticket booth still had a line backed up halfway to the entrance road just before race time, and the fans cheered the entire night. From the national anthem until the last checkered flag fell, the line at the Chicken Shack was no less than 10 people deep. After a surprisingly short wait, I sampled an obligatory chicken strip basket from Randy, the chicken guru himself, and it definitely hit the spot.
I don't know of any other track that has like chicken, like legs, breasts, thighs, like real chicken. They have chicken strips and all that. We just have some unique kind of food. And I think everybody loves that.
How did you ever get involved with running the chicken shack?
My parents bought it, I would say, probably 22 years ago, and I used to cook at a couple of restaurants, and they're like, looks like you're cooking in the chicken shack.
So they basically appointed you the
Appointed me the chicken shack guru.
chicken shack guru.
Yeah.
Do you do any other jobs around the track other than manage the chicken shack, or are you pretty much just here?
Mow the grass, clean up under the stands.
So you help out in quite a few different capacities
Usually
here.
here every day.
Are there any future plans for the chicken shack?
I don't know if I want to give that away, but
Top secret information?
it might be in about a year.
Really? Okay, cool. Have you ever looked into franchising a chain of chicken shack restaurants?
I get that question all the time. Why don't you take it on the road to other tracks? And I'm like, I don't think the other tracks would probably like that too well, but no, they want me to buy a building in town, and I'm like, yeah, what are you gonna do in the dead of winter? So,
You just like to keep it simple here.
3 months is good.
Do you ever get to watch any racing, or are you pretty much just here to run the chicken shack?
I get to watch, after intermission, I get to watch about 3 races. I got a good crew in the chicken shack that helps me out.
So you are a fan of racing as
Wow.
well?
Been watching it since I was probably 6.
Do you offer any chicken shack merchandise, such as hats or shirts or jackets?
Not chicken shack merchandise, just the Bemidji Speedway shirts. So.
Well, maybe you should think about some chicken shack merch.
I'll think about that.
Numerous standout racers from the area have crafted their skill here, such as Gordy Lancaster, Alan Olafson, John Seitz, Gary Nelson, and Tim Jackson, who has been the flagman for a few years now at Bemidji Speedway, and being a former racer definitely shows in his performance on the flag stand because he understands racing. He runs a tight ship, tolerates no nonsense, and to the fans' delight, he doesn't bog the program down with unnecessary stoppages.
You're the flagman here at Bemidji Speedway these days.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been flagging here?
This is my 3rd year.
And then you raced here for many, many years?
Yeah, I don't know that I know the exact number on that, but I've been coming out here since I was probably about 4.
So this would be like your home track?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
My dad was in a pit crew, way back in the day, and I was in the grandstands obviously at that age, but then just kind of grew through it and went up through the ranks there. And
So is this kind of where you learned to drive and where you got most of your experience to begin with?
yes, for sure. In the late 90s, early 2000s, we were out traveling a little bit then, but this was still, actually there was a few years in there, don't quote me on them, but where they didn't even have modifieds here in Bemidji. So, we would hit Buffalo River, Hibbing, Grand Rapids, whatever.
Okay. What makes Bemidji Speedway so different than other tracks?
It seems to be, this is my opinion, but it just seems to be more of a family atmosphere. Being the flagman, I say it at every pit meeting, our number one priority is to be safe, and then the second priority is to have fun. So, I think with that combination, Tonja being the promoter, she's here a lot, so she gets involved in a lot of things. The drivers kind of mingle and talk. I know, back in the olden days, we did that a lot more than they do now. But I think it's just the atmosphere.
What do you think about the chicken shack?
Well, that's famous. that's Randy's gig there. But no, many times I come down on intermission and the line is 30, 40 feet long, and they sell out of all the food they got. And so, they do a hell of a good job there.
Bemidji Speedway has been the stomping grounds for several Wazota national champions, and every so often, when it comes down to the wire, a national championship gets decided here during the season-ending Paul Bunyan Stampede. Although this track is geared more toward ground-level competition, It has also been host to several larger events, including a few $5,000 to win modified races, an occasional late model special, and the relatively new Chicken Shack Nationals. Yeah, this isn't exactly the Taj Mahal of racetracks. Sure, it could use a few updates and a fresh coat of paint here and there, but evidently that isn't the sole key to success, because at the end of the day, this place is heading in the right direction without all the superficial things. So you can take the digital scoreboards and the jumbotrons and the gimmick of the week track prep equipment and keep it. I'll take Bemidji Speedway, I'll take the Chicken Shack, and I'll take real grassroots racing.